Hi everyone and welcome to the latest Resource Hub video. In this video we're going to be looking at the GA4 site search tracking and reporting. So what exactly is site search? Site search, when we refer to that in GA4, is about trying to get insights into what people are looking for on your site. So this is when they've arrived on your site and they're using the search facility on it to navigate their way or to find a certain piece of content on your site. This is different to the Google Search Console account and the keywords that you can find there. The keywords that you find in the Google Search Console report are from organic searches that people use. So searches that people make on Google, for example, to get to your site. To find your site through using a search engine. This is when they've got there, what are they actually searching when they get there? So why is this important? It's important for a number of reasons. First of all, user intent and needs. So it is revealing exactly what users are looking for, what their immediate needs are, what content or products that they expect to find. Generally, when people are using the search facility, they're using it because they can't find what they need in terms of content, or potentially sometimes have navigation issues and are unsure of where that content lies. It could also be that they're looking for a product or a service that's quite closely related to what you do, but you maybe don't sell that particular product or service on your site. So for e-commerce sites, this can be one of the most important reports that you can get, because there might be a certain product that's closely related to what you do that you don't sell that's maybe starting to trend. So you can pick that up, search intent, behavior, whether that's on your site or whether it's through Google Keyword Tool or Google Trends. It can give you a wealth of information about what users want. So all of that is important to know before we look at how we can actually track it. So how do you track site search? There's two key things that we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk about events and event parameters. And when a user performs a search on your site, GA4 can automatically record this as an event. The event is called view search results, view underscore search underscore results. The event then can pick up a parameter, which a parameter is stitched to an event. It adds more context around the details of that event. So if we are tracking that someone has performed a search on the site, stitched to that, we can also track the keyword that they've typed in. So that's where we have our parameter for search term. So parameter is search term, our event is called view search results. Okay, and the two things stitched together will allow us to see what people are searching for. So knowing that, how do you actually capture this data? There's a couple of different steps that we need to go through. We first of all are going to look at identifying the search query parameter. How do we know what that is? We're going to look at enabling site search in GA4 under enhanced measurement. Then we're going to do a test and see if our search queries are coming through in real time. And then we're going to build out a search term as a custom dimension. And what that allows you to do is expose that parameter to be used in our standard reports as well. So let's look at the first step, which is identifying the search query parameter. So I'm going to use our site as an example, and in the top right hand corner here I am going to perform a search. Let's say I love Google Analytics. Okay, and I've performed that search. If I look at the URL above, this shows me that I have glowmetrics.com / we have a question mark, and then we have S equals, and then we see our search term. So if you imagine Google Analytics is reading all of these URLs, and we can see that our search term is there. But generally, whenever someone performs a search query on our site, just before the keyword in the URL, there's going to be what is known as a search query parameter. In this case, I can see our search query parameter is S. Okay, so you need to perform that search on your site first of all and work out, jot down what your search query parameter is. Okay, and when we then figure that out, we are going to go to our admin section in the back end of our Google Analytics account, and we're going to look at data streams. And under our data streams, we have an option which is called enhanced measurement. This is a really good element of GA4 that wasn't available in UA, and it's a way to allow Google Analytics to measure more automatic interactions that occur on the site. So you'll see here I've turned this enhanced measurement on, and it's measuring page views, scrolls, outbound clicks, site search, video engagement, file downloads, and form interactions. If I click on the gear icon here, I can see how each of this is configured. So when we're talking about tracking site search, what we need to make sure is that this enhanced measurement option for site search is first of all turned on. Then you'll see an option below here which says show advanced settings. And what this allows you to see are the search query parameters that Google Analytics can pick up as they're reading the URLs, because they know if they've come across one of these search query parameters, that on the other side of that is the keyword that someone has searched for. So we've got QS search query and keyword here. And I know that our search query parameter here is S. So it'll be captured in this string of search query parameters here. Now, if you have a search query parameter that is not one of these 5, you can separate these, use another comma, and type in what your search query parameter is there. So we need to ensure that that's matching our search query parameter, and let's click save on that. Okay, so now that we have enhanced measurement turned on and we know that our search query parameter is contained within that advanced settings box, let's go back to our reports. And remember, I searched for I love Google Analytics. So if we go back to reports, we can actually see this in our real-time reports. So if we go down to real-time, it should be there because I've searched it in the last 30 minutes. Okay, it's a little bit slow to load today. But if I look at our real-time overview reports, I'm going to look at the different events that have come in. And I can see there's a view search result event that's been triggered here. And there's 1 of 6 of 11. So let me zoom in to see if I can see. These are parameters that are feeding through with this event, and I can see search term is there. If I click in there, you can see I love Google Analytics. So in real time, it'll show you the search query that has been searched for. Okay, so if we go back here, we've done step 1, we've done step 2, and viewing our data in real time is fine, but you will likely want to use and view this data in your standard reports. So in your lifecycle reports or in any kind of event related reports, you'll want to see that data here. You just don't want to see what they've searched, what people have searched for in the last 30 minutes. So in order to do that, what we need to do is step 3, which is building out search term as a custom dimension so that exposes that parameter so it can be used then in our reports. Okay, so back to admin again. And instead of going before here where we're in data collection, under data streams, now look at data display and we look at our custom definitions. And in here we can see a list of our custom dimensions. Okay, so in order to expose the parameter that's stitched with the view search results event, we need to view it and find it. So I'm going to call it search term. It's tied to this event. So you have different scopes for different users. We've got event, user, and item. And this is going to be set at event scope. So if you have a free Google Analytics account, you have up to 50 custom dimensions that you can set up with any event scoped custom dimension, and you have 125 that you can set up with 360 or enterprise accounts. That's probably, you know, one of the reasons that some of these parameters aren't set up by default, because we have to remember we have a limit to these. Then the next thing that we need to do is search for event parameter. So I know the event parameter is search_term. Now, because I already have this event parameter set up, it didn't populate in the list. So if you don't see it in the list, you can type in search_term. Remember, that's the event parameter that's sent with our view search results event. So we're trying to expose this parameter so we can use it in reports. So it needs to match this event parameter, which is search_term. So basically taking this event parameter and calling it something that is meaningful to us. And I'm just going to call it search term. Okay, now it says here this is already being used, so we can't set this one up, but that's how you would set it up. And if I go here, click on edit, you'll see this one that I've already set up, so I can show you the reports. So going back here, we've got a tick on step 3. So we've done all the kind of admin element and setup element to it. The next stage is how are we going to visualize this data? So we've done all of those 3 steps. There are a couple of ways in which you can view site search reporting, and we're going to look at 3 different options here. One is view this data in standard reports using a secondary dimension. Option 2 is reporting these through custom standard reports. So we're going to build out that using a filter on the event name. And option 3 is then we can create an exploration report using search term and event name as a dimension, total users and event count as metrics. Okay, so the very first option that we're going to look at is the reporting option in the default standard reports. Okay, and I have some search data that we've already collected here. So this is one that I've made earlier because we have had site search set up for quite a while now in our account. So let's go into reports. And I'm going to look at our engagement reports because I know that that's where all of the event data has been collected. It's taking a little while to load today, but it should hopefully load soon. It's working very hard. So let's go to engagements and let's look at our events. Remember, we're looking for the view search result event. Okay, now I can see this is one of 29, sorry, 1 to 10 of 29. So I can either navigate across here, but I tend to use the search bar. So I'm going to search for view. What I'm trying to do here is just isolate the view search results. So I need to go a little bit more defined on that and do view underscore search. Okay, so I can see that there's been 51 searches here. Now there's two ways that you can look at this. One way is clicking into the event. And when we click into any of these events, it's going to show us the parameters that are stitched and exposed with this event. So once this loads and I scroll down, you can already see here the search that I performed. But remember, this is only in the last 30 minutes. So as this loads, I can see I've exposed the search term parameter. So it'll give me a list of the search queries that have been performed. That's one way, although it's not as usable as this other way that I'm going to show you now. So if we go back and view our search result event again. So we're going to engagement and we are selecting our events, and we should have here our list of events. So again, what I am going to do is search for the view search results event. And what this will do is isolate view search results. And similar with any event, sometimes a better way of viewing the parameter detail is adding our secondary dimension. So essentially this is our primary dimension. If we click here, we can add a secondary dimension to this table. So I'm going to, it's actually a custom one that I've set up, and I'm going to look for my search term. And when I select that, it's going to give me what I have now is the event name and the list of search terms as well. Okay, and I can see there's one of 45 that I can use here. So this gives me the data that I can see in what we know here as standard reports. Now, what I can also do, so if we go back here, we've got, that's option 1 of reporting in the default standard reports. So option 2 is looking at this report, but building out a standard, a custom standard report. And what I mean by that is if we go back here, we've got all of our standard reports on the left-hand side. And what I can actually do is create kind of a standalone report that looks like this. And how we do that is we're going to click on the pencil top right hand corner to customize this report. And what I'm going to do here is I've got a list of dimensions and the list of metrics. Now what this has done is it's removed any filters that I was adding kind of on an ad hoc basis there when we were looking at the report. So what I want to do here is, what I'm trying to do is build out a report just for site search. So again, I'm going to go through something similar to what we've just seen. I want to isolate the event name. Okay, and this is a really good filter that they added to allow us to build out event reports. And I'm going to say my event, I know what exactly matches. You can use different match types, but I know what exactly matches our view search results. So I'm going to apply that. Okay, so I like the look of this report. Now, again, this just tells me how many people searched. I'm going to use the secondary dimension here and add my search terms in. So I can actually see what people have searched for. Okay, so I like the look of that. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save this report. I don't want to change the existing event report that I have. I'm going to save this as a new report. and I'm going to call this my site search term report. I'm going to say details what people have searched for on my site or on the GlowMetrics site, and save that. Now, as with any of these kind of custom reports, what that does is it saves this report to my library. You might have seen that in the bottom left hand corner there. It gives me that notification. So let's go back and look at the navigation and see how that looks. Okay, so if I click into reports, and allow this to load. And what we are going to do next is we are going to see how the left hand navigation looks now. Has that added our site search report to the navigation? And if not, how do we do that? So you'll see I've added a custom report and pulled out just a report for site search queries. The benefit of that is that if you or someone else in your organization is particularly interested in that report and it's important enough, then what we can do is actually add that to, we've got that report in our library, but what we can do is add it to the navigation. Okay, so we've got our report snapshot here. I'm just going to extend this so we can see. You can see here under engagement, we've got our event report. This is going to give us all of our events, so we still have to add our search term report to our library. So if we jump into our library, and I can see this is the site search report that I've built. So what I want to do is add this to my life cycle report under engagement. So if I scroll over here, I want to find the collection that relates to where I want to add this. So if I click to edit, okay, and I know it's my search report. So I'm going to, I can see it here, site search term report, and I'm just going to pull that over and allow that to live under events, and click save on that and save changes to current collection. Okay, so let's go back now, and what we can see here is if we go into engagement, we've now got our site search term report, which will populate with the settings that we had before. Okay, so that's option 2. We've looked at building out a custom report. Option 3 now is looking at building out an exploration report. Okay, so let's go back in, and this time we're going to click to build out an exploration report. And essentially what we're going to do here is create a blank exploration. And we are going to build out one that is freeform that we can use to add in our different dimensions and metrics. Okay, so what we need to do here is add in our event name. Okay, and let's take our search term dimension as well. Okay, so we have added those 2 dimensions, and for our metrics, what we need to do is add in our event count, because we want to count the number of events, and let's look at total users as well. So once we have our dimensions for event name and search term and our metrics for event count and total users, we can drag and drop those into our rows to start to build out our exploration report. So if we look at our event count and our total users, what we'll see is our event name, our search term, event count and total users. Now you'll notice that if we extend the rows to say 50, that we've got all of our event names that are coming in. So in our exploration, we need to click to use our filters, and we're going to filter that by our event name. And our event name, I know, will exactly match the search results. And if I click to apply, what we have, if we can extend just to the last 12 months. And what we're now seeing is a list, downloadable list and usable list of the event name, which is a few search results, and the search terms as well. And we can filter that by any metrics that we've chosen there. So the last thing to do then is to name this as our site search report. And what we can actually do here to tidy this up, because we are filtering by event name, but do we need it in our table? Probably not. So we can click to exit this, and that'll still retain the filter that we've used here. So now we're just seeing the search term, the number of times that has been searched for, and the number of users that has made that search as well. And of course, if we go out to our Explorer, that's automatically saved in our exploration list. So a quick link into view that report can be made. Okay, so that's it. We've looked at the benefit of site search, some of the event names and parameters that can come in, setting or exposing our search term parameter in reports by setting it up as a custom dimension. And then we've also looked at how you can display the output of those reports, both in standard and exploration reports as well. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, joanne@glowmetrics.com, contact one of the team, or you can follow us on most of the social channels. Thank you.